Good day, everyone. Welcome to the journey of the third year values education from the Philippine Normal University, 311 Travelers and 312 Dozenlighters. Today, we are presenting our collaborative output, our requirements given by our Professor Eleanor Bayten. These requirements involve the development of 30 summative test items for grade 8 values education covering quarter 1 to 4. As part of fulfilling these course requirements, our class worked together through the following major planning: discussion of item formats, table of specification, item placement, administration of test items or pilot testing, difficulty value index, and the collective reflection to this output. And now to discuss the discussion of item formats.
Now, for our assessment, we use a selected response format, and the test is divided into three parts. The first part of our test is multiple choice with 4 items per quarter. Next slide, please. Now, followed by sentence completion with 2 items per quarter. And finally, we included interpretative questions with 1 item for each of the first 2 quarters and 2 items for quarters 3 and 4. Now, let's proceed to the table of specification.
For the table of specification, there are 3 to 4 members responsible for each quarter, quarter 1 to quarter 4, and each group focuses only on the competencies within their assigned quarter. We also identify all competencies and distribute the test items across all topics. And then we prepare the TOS per quarter and merge them all. And lastly, we set the time allocation for each item type. Next slide, please.
For the item distribution, this highlights the focus across the 3 learning domains. The affective domain has 14 items, the highest number, because assessing attitudes and values requires multiple scenarios to capture consistency. The cognitive domain has only 4 items, which is enough for the basic knowledge and understanding needed in this area. Meanwhile, the psychomotor domain has 12 items, reflecting the importance of hands-on skills and the need to evaluate accuracy and technique through several performance-based tasks. Overall, this distribution provides balanced coverage of attitudes, knowledge, and skills.
Now, for the item placement. Item placement in an assessment is the process of aligning test items with learning objectives. First, we identify the learning target or values to be developed, the skill or knowledge students are expected to demonstrate. Then we select the appropriate assessment type, such as multiple choice, sentence completion, or interpretive questions, based on what best measures the target. Next, we create a stimulus, like a passage, scenario, or problem to provide context for the item. The question is then written clearly to match the learning objective. And finally, we ensure that the item effectively evaluates the intended outcome and that response options are logical and fair. This process helps make assessments valid, reliable, and aligned with learning goals. Next slide, please.
We conducted the administration of the test items to ensure that all students were assessed under fair, consistent, and ethical considerations. So for preparation, we finalized the test items and prepared all the necessary test papers. Before the test began, we gave clear and simple instructions aloud so that the students were informed about the assessment and to avoid any confusion. So the students were all informed about the time limit and they are encouraged for clarification regarding the directions or the assessments. We also ensured that the students are all informed about the data privacy, so all including their responses and their documentation would remain confidential and used solely for academic purposes. During the actual administration, we prepared and properly distributed the test items, monitored them, and gave assistance and directions. After the test, we collected all the papers by having students pass them forward to the front and ensure that all test papers were complete.
After the administration, we had a photo opportunity with the students and their teachers. And after that, we gave them a small token of appreciation to each student. And now here's a short video clip that contains pictures and videos from the pilot testing that we conducted. The picture collages were edited by yours truly, and the whole video clip edited by teacher John Harvey.
For getting the DVI, next slide. After the pilot testing, we gathered all the answer sheets and began checking them using the finalized answer key.
While reviewing the papers, we noticed a few consistent patterns. Next slide, please. Many students committed similar errors in certain items, which suggested that some questions might have been unclear or a bit challenging for them. We also saw that several students did not follow instructions in the sentence completion section. Some responses were incomplete, while others did not follow the required format. When we look at the summary of the item scoring, next slide please. Most of these students scored between 20 and 28 points, with 28 as the highest and 18 as the lowest. There were items that almost everyone answered correctly, but there were also low scoring items that aligned with the issues we observed during checking, especially in the sentence completion part. Overall, the checking and scoring stages help us identify which items were effective and which ones need the revision. These details will be discussed further in the item analysis section.
As for the item analysis for the graded assessment, it shows that many questions are easy to very easy, such as items 1, 4, 8, 11, 15, and 20, which most students answered correctly but showed low or zero discrimination because both of the upper group, the top performing students, and the lower group, which are the lowest performing students, got similar scores. For example, item 8 and 5 had five correct answers in both groups, resulting in a discrimination index of 0.00, meaning it cannot distinguish strong from weak learners. A few items like item 2 performed well because the upper group, which had four correct answers, outperformed the lower group, which had zero correct answers, giving it a strong discrimination index of 0.40. However, items such as 3 and 29 showed negative discrimination, where lower performing students scored higher than the upper group, indicating the items are flawed and should be discarded. Overall, the test needs revision to improve the item quality and better differentiate the graded learners.
Now we're looking at how we evaluated test items using two key metrics, item difficulty and item discrimination. Difficulty tells us how many students got the item right, too easy or too hard, and it may need revision. Discrimination shows how well an item distinguishes between high and low performers. Strong discrimination means it's a good question. By interpreting these indices, we can refine assessment to be fair, effective, and aligned with the learning goals. With the calculated values as shown from the tables on the left, it went through our evaluation criteria, which the result of interpretation can be seen in our summary of table.
Based for our summary table, we can see that the overall pattern of our test item shows that most of the items turned out to be easy for the students. This is indicated by the difficulty index values, where a large majority of the items fall within the easy range, specifically values between 0.70 and 1.00. This means that both the upper group and the lower group students were able to answer many of the items correctly, showing that it's high-scoring students from low-scoring students. The table shows that most items have a discrimination value of 0.00, and some even have negative discrimination. A discrimination index of 0 means that students from both the upper and lower groups perform the same on the item, while a negative value means the lower group actually perform better than the upper group. Because of this, many items are labeled as non-discriminating in the summary table. As a result, the decision shown in the table indicated the majority of the test items need to be revised. They were not necessarily wrong, but because they were either too easy or unable to differentiate levels of mastery. They are not effective in measuring true student understanding. Only a few items with high discrimination values, such as items 2, 5, 10, 18, 22, and 28 were tagged for attention. Overall, the item analysis summary table shows that while students may have performed well, the quality of many of the items needs to be improved. We must revise this to include clear distractors, slightly higher levels of thinking, and more math difficulty to ensure that future assessment will be more reliable and more accurate in measuring students.
So to conclude our presentation, let me tell our brief reflection on our pilot testing journey. First, what went well? Our group showed effective teamwork and strong cooperation. We had a smooth coordination during the item creation, and the clear division of tasks kept our work organized. Throughout the process, we improved our problem solving and adaptability, and we gained meaningful learning and real experiences. Despite the challenges, we successfully completed the pilot testing, which was a fulfilling achievement for all of us. Next, the challenge we faced. Coordinating with three different schools was not easy, especially with the limited time we had. We experienced pressure, scheduling changes, and communication delays, and waiting for approvals that took longer than expected. These factors made the process more demanding. Lastly, for our points of improvement, we realized the need to improve our time management to prevent last minute pressure. We also aim to establish clearer communication within the school and among our group. And finally, preparing backup plans will help us handle unexpected delays more effectively. Overall, the experience was both challenging and rewarding. It helped us grow as a team and as a future teacher. That's all, and thank you so much for listening.